And live now from Fox continues to carry on. I am your host, Mike Page, as we continue to bring you top stories, headlines, all in the mix right here. Well, this past Wednesday, we saw the second GOP debate there, this time happening in California. But one of the names that are running for president of the United States for the Republican nomination was not on the stage, but we want to bring him right here on Live Now from Fox and get to know a little bit more about Ryan Binkley, a businessman and pastor. Thanks so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox.
Well, thank you, Mike. It's great to be with you this morning, and a wonderful day here from Dallas, Texas.
Yes, absolutely. So what was your first thoughts of seeing the second debate? I want to get your thoughts.
Wow. Okay. So a lot of thoughts there. First of all, we narrowly missed that debate. We had the number of donors that were needed, but we missed it in one of the polling requirements. But you know what? Just seeing the colleagues out there were some good and there's some not so good. I would say that it's always good to hear, new voices, and it's good to hear, policy about what we can do different. What I didn't hear, though, was a real resounding vision for our country. I think a lot of things kind of left that professionalism. We're applying for the highest job office in the land, and it kind of turned into a lunchroom food fight a little bit. Other than that, it's always good to see, us explain the differences between us and the Democratic Party. So I thought there were some good points and bad points all along the way.
It must be hard because you have your thoughts and your own ideas on how you would like to run the country, and not being able to have that opportunity. Tell us how you and your team are hoping to get on the next debate stage, and really what goes into that.
Well, it's so important that we begin to have more media attention like we are right now. And we're getting more of that really because we're not just talking about the problems, but we're actually coming up with some solutions. Right now, you heard it said very much on Wednesday, how much everybody is getting impacted by inflation all the more every day. In fact, we run into people, their rent has gone up from like $600 a month to $1,400 a month, or how they're having to work two jobs now, running into people that are, have professional jobs, but also are being Uber drivers on the weekend. So there's a lot of people that are underemployed or really facing inflation. What didn't happen the other day, and what we will do as president, is really not just talk about the problems, but really put together a plan. Because as I'm a CEO of an investment bank, and really my expertise is in the economy, I really see us entering a perfect storm financially. It's beyond just inflationary. Right now, we're about to hit a stagnant growth session because as the Fed has tried to control inflation by raising rates, they've actually hurt the impact and underlying assets of most of the regional banks in our country. So we're seeing a slowdown of growth. We're seeing M&A. I'm in the mergers and acquisitions business. Across the board, our company's doing well, but across the board, much of the industry is down 30 or 40%, meaning companies are buying less companies. They're not growing. That means less new hires. That means less promotions. And you're seeing the lagging effect of a stagnation in the economy. So I have put together a plan, and we're just keep preaching this plan, a 7-year plan to balance the budget. Right now, our nation is really, our leaders are buying votes with our children's financial future. They're putting our economy today on our kids' credit cards. And so we have a plan to stop doing that, to get back to fiscal sanity. And the more I'm just sharing this, and I'm also a leader that kind of transcends the partisan politics of today, I'm really talking about how can we unify, quit vilifying each other to really solve problems like in healthcare, the border, education, some really things that aren't just Republican or Democratic issues, but are American issues. And as I'm sharing this, people are paying attention.
No, absolutely there. And when some economists say that we are on the brink of a recession there, I want to get your thoughts on how President Joe Biden right now, he calls it Bidenomics, going around talking about the job numbers. But in reality, it seems that we are on this brink of recession. I mean, everything else that you see, from gas prices to the trips at the grocery store, just rising in so much prices. What is Bidenomics to you?
Well, Bidenomics really is a short-term economic boost by trying to spend a lot of money, go in debt all the more to try and inflate people's short-term living expenses and give them some more money quickly. But it's got a long-term devastating effect on our economy and on people's personal wealth. And we're seeing that happen because what it causes is inflation. So what we've seen now, and this is really the only real key problem I have a lot with Republican leadership as well, because President Trump did this as well, we go into too much debt. And President Trump went $7.5 trillion. We're seeing Joe Biden double down on that. And what happens is when we have to print money to basically pay for our bills, this is what causes inflation. And this is the biggest tax on the middle class and the lower income Americans all across the table, because now we're all paying, what, $1,000 more a month just for rent, for food, for clothes, for fuel today, for anything related to a car. It's not a 15% inflation. That's a basket of goods. It's much more with that, with everything that we purchase. And so, this is the problem with Bidenomics. It's going to destroy our country. And the reason is because now we've done it so much that all these regional banks that have, for 15 years bought treasuries at 0 and 1% yields, now their assets are worth about 70, 80 cents on the dollar. So everybody's struggling. They don't know what to do. Houses are going to be more costly every single day. So now we're in a big problem. This goes back to the 70s. If you remember Jimmy Carter, where we had stagflation, a stagnant economy with high inflation. And that's what Bidenomics will bring.
And I got to get your thoughts on illegal immigration. It seems now, just finally, it's really getting picked up in mainstream media. For quite some time, it was only really talked about by Republicans and really border cities, talking about, hey, there's a huge problem going on at the border. But finally, it seems that it's being picked up. And just yesterday, we saw Elon Musk there at the border. Is that what it's going to take for some outsiders, some influencers to come to the border to really show what's going on there?
Well, I think it certainly helps when Elon Musk shows up and then other media begins to pick it up. Fox has been picking this up for some time, a few other media channels as well, but most of the media has not. And the reason is because it does not, coincide an agenda for the immigrant worker. The Republicans have always wanted security. And so right now we're seeing that we have to have security first and foremost. In fact, we can't really have a plan for immigrants until we have a secure border. So my plan is different in the fact that we actually have a funding mechanism. Most of the Republicans on Wednesday night are saying, hey, we're going to put the military on the border. And I can certainly do that as well, and we'll do that. But at the end of the day, that's a short-term solution. As soon as there's a Democrat in office, everybody in the military is coming off the border, and we're still going to have drugs. We're still going to have human trafficking. We're still going to have the crime and the insurgence of illegal immigrants coming in. So we have a secure plan. It's a $30 billion plan, but it's funded really with Democrat support and independent support. Because of this, we have worker needs in America to addresses some of those. And when we do that, then we can get rid of sanctuary cities and get rid of catch and release. And so my borders and security plan allows for both of these to happen.
And I got to get your take here. Are you surprised that Ron DeSantis isn't closer in the polling right now? The current polling shows that Donald Trump is far leading in a way in the GOP nomination side there. But are you more surprised that it's not a little bit closer, given that, with Trump's legal battles as well?
Well, there's many things that Americans are looking for today. And one of the things they're looking for is they're looking for strong leadership. And Donald Trump is a strong leader. Ron DeSantis is a strong leader. But the other thing they're really looking for is how do you solve our financial problems? And then how do you bring our country together? And so, Ron DeSantis, he didn't really put together a plan about how our country is going to solve really the financial crisis that we're in. He talked about what he did in Florida. But Florida, they have to have a balanced budget. So there's no going past that. Well, when you get to the federal level, we don't have to have that. So he didn't really talk about a plan to do that. The other thing, though, he's not really a uniter. He's kind of positioned hard on certain issues in education, really hard right on certain issues regarding the border. I mean, saying this, hey, we're going to put the military there. We're going to kill and shoot somebody that comes across. That's a hard stance. And not that it's not right to put the military there, but, the cartels aren't putting their kingpins with backpacks across the border. They're hiring teenagers, or they're threatening teenagers' lives to do that. So we have to have leadership that begins to transcend the moment. I think that's what America is looking for, is how do we get past this divide we're in? Can you bring our country together? And as president, that's what I'm looking to do. Right now, our country, it's never been more divided than it is right now in my lifetime. I'm 55. I think we all can see that. And I think people are looking for someone to speak to the real issues of today. We have a financial crisis. We have a cultural crisis. And how are you going to lead us through?
So true. And then lastly, Ryan, I just want to get your take on how, for you and your campaign, how do you continue to get your name out there, do it from a grassroots effort, and really try to get your name recognition out there and get more people onto your ideas?
Well, thank you very much. Well, people can go to Binkley2024.com. If you're looking for a leader that can really help us transcend, where we are financially and truly put together a plan, because Republicans, we've lost our voice of being really financial stewards. Back when Reagan was in office, he spoke to that. We've left that. We have to get back to that. The other thing that's different about me is that I'm telling our party is that we need to change. We lost 46 of the top 50 cities in the last election. The fastest growing centers are in urban America. We lost college students by 70%. I have a message for urban America, and really it's getting people to start volunteering in urban America. We don't have any money to spend, but our message is this: college students, join us in a Peace Corps type movement to spend 5 hours a week helping mentor young kids in urban areas on how to read, write, and do math. Let's start job training again with vocational skills at the high school level. Let's start an urban renewal movement, and let's bring a Republican alternative to socialism. As I'm sharing this, it's catching on. I'm asking people to go to our website, support us, share this, like us on Facebook, Instagram, social media, Twitter as well. And let's get the message out, because there's alternatives out there. And I'm an alternative that can really unite our country, bring us together, and also solve our biggest problems. We've got this financial crisis. It's a perfect storm. I have a plan to lead us through. I'm the only one candidate that's put together a 7-year plan to balance the budget, and as well as transform healthcare. So we've got some great solutions. We just need to just keep knocking on the door and let us get in the conversation. And we certainly hope to do that at the next debate. So as your listeners, share it with others, like us on these social media platforms, and share it with some friends.